Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Nancy here from American Pet Professionals, and welcome to our 10th episode of Digging into the Pet Industry. And we are multi streaming on multiple platforms. And I'm so excited today to bring our next guest to you, APP member Arden Moore from Four Legged Life. Welcome, Arden.
Pause up, Nancy, and everybody.
Yay.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for being here.
We have a camera hound. Here's Pet Safety Cat Casey going, this is my best side. This is my best side. This is my best side.
Awesome. Hi, Casey. I know we have a few cats that may show up and maybe a dog or two during this. So we love that. So Arden, I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you so much for being on our show today. Here at Digging Into the Pet Industry, we jump right in. So I would love to go back a bit and talk about when you first got started in the pet industry.
Well, I believe it was 1999, me and Prince, and I had just left the world of daily newspapers and working at a major publishing house, Rodale, that makes Men's Health magazine and prevention. And I dipped into the world, said goodbye to the W-2 world, and went on my own. And I've been doing it ever since. I've always had a love of pets and a love of writing and a love of giving out good information backed by good sources, not Dr. Google.
Right. Yes, that's awesome. 1999. So you've been in the industry for quite a while now. And I know you wear many collars, as you like to say.
Yeah. Well, my last name is Moore, so come on.
Right. I did add that in there.
Oh, sorry, spoiled it.
No, it's okay. On the description, I use that because, you can't help the pun, right? So tell me, what is your favorite collar that you wear in the pet industry?
That's hard because I have a business manager, shout out to Aaron Fenstermaker, who reins me in because I can't do that elevator talk for 10 seconds and say, what do you do?
Right.
I really I'm a master instructor in pet first aid and CPR. And I really love saving pet lives and teaching people how to save pet lives. But equally important, I have very strong typing fingers and I'm a reporter. I'm a journalist. And I love writing for different publications, blogs. I also have written over 24 dog and cat books. So That's a toss-up. But I got to say, saving pets' lives is a pretty cool gig.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes because I think that's so important. And we'll jump into that. But yeah, speaking of being a best-selling author, how many books? 24 in the for pets?
You say you think I'd have it all written on my forearm, all the titles. I think I'm on book number 27, but I have written a number of books where I've ghostwritten also, and I've teamed up with people, and I've done human health and medicine and things like that. But I believe in the pet world, it's about 27 dog and cat books since 2001.
Wow.
So I actually wrote 4 books during COVID.
Wow. I was going to say that's more than a book a year. That's crazy. Holy moly. How long does it take you to write a book now?
Oh, 2 minutes, No, I'm very blessed. I'm very organized when it comes to writing and research and all that. But you're doing it. All you authors out there, the gig. You're doing other jobs at the same time to keep the lights on and the rent paid and all that. So during COVID, I was so happy because I finally got to write books for an audience I've always wanted to write for, kids.
Oh, for kids. Interesting. And are there pet books for kids?
Oh, I just happened to have them. This one came out about a year after COVID, A Kid's Guide to Cats. I know that it's not mirrored image. And inside it for the kids are a bunch of stuff, but the cat you just saw, Casey, has running sidebars talking to the kids. This got voted the President's Award by the Cat Writers Association, the best of the best.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
But I go to the dogs too. So this one is for the dog lovers and kids. And again, my safety dog, Kona, a terrier mix, she is also writing sidebars. And this one, best children's book from the Dog Writers Association. So they both are already in their 5th printing and in 5 languages since coming out about a year
Wow,
ago.
that's incredible. Congratulations. And so those books are really good for kids that want to learn about cats, I assume, and kids that want to
Yeah,
learn about dogs and be a better dog and cat, parent,
yeah.
right?
And it's so cool because I think I'm a Labrador puppy dog in my real world. And I get to be able to tell dumb jokes and things like that. But kids are so smart and they're our next
Yeah.
generation. I
Yeah.
do a lot of work with kids, SPCA of Texas, Critter Camp, and things like that. And a lot of them take my classes in behavior or first aid. They ask the best questions, and anything I can do to help our next generation of pet champions, I'm happy to do that.
That's awesome. I love that. And I would assume that book writing has become a little bit easier over the years since you first started.
I hope so.
Yeah.
This will scare you. Let's see, do I have it here? Oh, yeah. Coming out this summer, because I'm not done. I told you 4 books. This is the cover for the cat behavior answer book. And there's Casey. He made it. We
Oh,
had to do a professional photo shoot. And this is for the dog lovers, the dog
nice.
behavior. And my dog Kona made the cover for that.
Oh,
So they're
you're
both
making
coming
me
out
jealous. I need
later.
to have a book for my dog Cody to be in.
Yeah. So anyway, I just feel lucky because I've never run out of ideas. I work with 4 different publishers. I've never done the self-publish route. I
I was
bless
just
all
going
of
to
you
ask you
that can
that.
do that. No, I
Yeah.
don't know how to do that. So these are actually royalty books.
Let me ask you this. What would a piece of advice for somebody that's thinking about writing a book for the pet industry? What would you say
Yeah,
to them?
it depends on what your experience and
Yeah.
wheelhouse is. If you're just starting out and all, I would recommend maybe teaming up with an established author. There's a lot of books out
Yeah.
there like that. The world of print on demand, POD, is getting better and
Yep.
better. So it's less of a financial hit. So if you do self-publish, there's certainly a number of very successful friends of mine, Dusty Rainbow, Amy Sojai, to name a few.
Yeah.
They have done that very well. I just came from the newspaper world, and I couldn't do that. I went with publishers. So
Yeah, I found, I went to a pet writing conference years ago and it was wrapped around Westminster and they were publishers there and there were self-published people there. And
yeah,
I asked some of the publishers and some of them were from some of the top publishing places and I asked them, what do you guys look for? And I asked them those questions and I said, what do you think about self-publishing? And they said, actually, we hire a lot. We end up hiring a lot of people that self-publish to write books when we find a really good
yeah,
book. So
yeah.
it was
I mean,
really interesting. It was 50-50. And
yeah,
that was like a
it's come a
decade
long
ago.
way. It's come a long way,
Yeah,
and there's better. The designs are better. You're not hit with a big bill. You can print on demand. It's on
yeah.
Amazon. I mean, my next 2 books I want to do because I'm actually a licensed bartender, so I want to do.
Wait a minute. You can't just skip over that. Next, we're gonna have to have an American Pet Professionals event, and you teaching everybody the drinks.
We can make a Moscow Mew.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I hosted a show for 2 years called Meowie Hour with the Cat Fancier Association, and
Yeah,
we celebrated at the end each show. And I would create a kitty cocktail for the audience, not for the cats.
right.
And I have 104 recipes I created. And so I'm working with some folks. My next project would be to do a gift book, a dog and a cat gift book, kitty and doggy cocktails.
Oh my
And
God,
then
that's
the
great.
facing page would be different tips and all that. So that's kind of my next project for later this year. But I love to mixology, but I
Yeah,
don't know the last time I ever got tipsy. I don't really drink a lot. It's more about putting something
making it.
together.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You want the bartender to be sober.
Yeah, I'm sober. Yeah.
Oh man, that's really cool. Those would make really great gifts for, the pet parent when you're trying to find a gift for
Yeah.
somebody that maybe does like to imbibe and have some
Well, we would
cocktail.
have a few mocktails in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. I can't wait to see those. That's a great
Yeah.
idea. So let's jump into what you do with your master pet first aid instructor. It's a mouthful.
Here, let me
Let
do
me ask you
this.
this.
Shamelessly, Vanna White. Here we go. This is the name of my
Pet first aid for
company.
you.
How's that?
So explain what that is. I know what it is, but explain to people that are watching that you are you're a master pet first aid instructor.
Yes, I've been teaching pet first aid for about a dozen years. I've been through different programs. I did become a master certified pet instructor, I think in 2000, I don't remember, 2010. But everything we teach is veterinary approved. I have about a dozen veterinarians as my advisors. I have two programs. I have Pet First Aid for You, which is my company,
Right.
and we teach a cat only first aid class. We
Wow.
teach a dog and cat first aid class. I customize classes for people in the boarding facilities. I customize it for people that want in-staff training for pet sitters. I actually teach canine police officers, paramedics. So I teach a
Wow.
whole wide swath. But I also am the director of education for a company called Pro Trainings. It's a worldwide group on health safety, and their pet component is called Pro Pet Hero.
Yep.
So once a month, I actually teach 2 days, 16 hours total, and I get people certified to become instructors.
Oh, okay. So like a pet sitting person or somebody could teach it where they are.
Yeah. So I've taught hundreds of people now since 2018. I love it because I can't clone myself.
Yeah.
And we really get into more than just the hands-on and what's going on. It's all the classes are either in person or live in Zoom. So I have taught people from Egypt, Germany, and South Africa.
Wow, that's incredible.
And
Isn't it
Greece.
amazing?
I can't
Yeah, it's
forget Greece.
amazing when you have the power of our technology now to reach all over the world. I actually took the pet first aid and CPR class. I'm probably due to re-up a while ago with one of our members who is a pet sitter and a franchise owner. And I knew a lot, but about the care and safety and pet first aid, but I learned so much. So what would you think, or who would you say, I learned so much. Like the size of the dog, we didn't have cats. It was just really, I only have a dog. So, but I learned so much on like what to do if the dog is choking, like all the different things.
And it changes all the time.
Yeah,
So because I have people like Dr. Marty Becker as one of my advisors, and Dr. Elizabeth Colleran, who's the past president of the Cat Veterinarian Association, I have a few ER and critical care veterinarians. And when things are safe, I actually give up a weekend night every few months and hang out with Dr. Michael Sasso or Dr. Deborah Charles in Dallas and be in the ER at night. So I get learn new
yeah,
things. So what I taught back then and what I taught now is light years because things keep changing.
yeah,
And so I like that because I want to give you the best information from the best and make it fun and practical because people who know me, there's no way I'm going to make you read from a course book and fall asleep. You're going to hear some dad jokes and you're going to have some fun. But I think the
not
purpose,
from you.
yeah, but there's a method to it because if you feel safe and you feel happy
Yeah,
and you get to do things, it sticks. And that's kind of what I think sets our program apart because we get you into the emotional state. We make you a pet detective. We teach you to be a first responder and a poopologist.
not knowing what to look for, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I will say to you, I do this for my guests on my show. Anytime your schedule allows it, you are comped and are welcome to take one of our classes.
Well, that's very kind of you. I think it's so important. Let me ask you this. A lot of pet professionals don't know pet first aid and CPR. And I think that's a little bit nerve wracking if you're, any kind of pet professional. I think even if you're in a retail store, you should know it if you have
Oh,
dogs or cats coming into your store as customers. So
I think
who else?
the millennials are demanding that us as pet
Yep,
professionals are trained in pet first aid. And there's a number of good programs out there. I'm telling you, it will get you clients. It
yep,
will keep your clients.
yep. Yeah, I think it's such an important thing for any pet professional to know, whether you're working with dogs on a regular basis or you're manufacturing pet products, right? I
Yeah.
think everybody should know it because most people in the pet industry, us pet professionals, were pet owners. So you
Yeah,
should
I hope
know it.
so.
Yeah.
I have a few. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people might just have fish or reptiles, and that's okay too. But I think it's really important. So
I
let's
don't
talk.
know how to do CPR on a guppy. Haven't done it yet.
Listen, there's some vets out there that are really incredible with aquatic
Oh yeah.
veterinary care, right? It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
mind-boggling. So, okay, let's talk about you are the host of the longest running pet podcast, Oh Behave, and now you're the new host of a nationally syndicated weekly radio show called Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. That's amazing. Congratulations. And how did you get started with all of that?
Well, back in 2007, pause up to Mark Winter. He's the executive producer of Pet Life Radio, and he has the largest pet radio network on the planet. He called me up. I didn't even know who he was, and I didn't even know what a podcast was. And he said, I would love you to be a host of a show. It's a podcast. And we were back then using phones and Skype. Oh
Right.
my gosh, pray, pray, pray. Everything connects. Slow and steady. We have been on the air since 2007. We are the longest running pet podcast on the planet, over 500,000 listeners.
Wow.
Betty White was on our show. She loved being a guest.
Aw.
Oprah has voted it a few times as one of her top 3 podcasts. It's been recognized by the Podcast Awards as a finalist. They don't even have a pet division. So I'm in the family division.
Come on.
No. And now I'm laughing because for years I was trying to explain what a podcast is. I think all my pets secretly have a podcast now. Everyone seems to have a podcast now.
Right.
Great. That's great. But I am honored and to team up with Mark and to do that. So it's called Oh Behave because we want to edutain, and I have a little fun with that. And then I got approached by a group of people a few months ago, and they want me, and I am doing a new national syndicated on satellite radio and YouTube, the national weekly show, which is a whole different animal. You got to really pay attention to the time marks and all that because it goes coast to coast.
Wow.
And I'm very honored because it's a different media, if you will.
Yeah.
And the first 2 guests I had just came back from the Ukraine volunteering as veterinarians, Dr. Marty Becker,
Yeah.
America's and Dr. Gary Weitzman from the San Diego Humane Society, who used to be an Air Force officer. Wow. So I thought that was so cool to be able to have them on my premiere show. And we're going to have Nancy on too. So
Yay.
That'll be cool.
I'm excited. It should be fun. So I think you answered one of my questions. Who is the most famous person that you've ever had on your podcast? And you said Betty White. She's pretty famous. So
yeah, I've had Lily Tomlin. I've had Jennifer Aniston. A lot of actors and actresses. A lot of top dogs in the pet world. I really enjoy it because my goal as a host is to do my homework and make sure that you feel welcomed as a guest. This is not 60 minutes. Right. And so sometimes people are surprised by the questions, but I always want to tee them up for good. And I think as a tip for everybody out there doing a podcast, it's good to have a lineup of questions. Please do not stick to the chronological order because your guest is going to throw you a curveball.
Yep.
Like I did for Nancy saying I'm a licensed bartender. She went, what? But she went right into it. So nice job.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoy interviewing people too, and I do my homework. So, but I just think it's, really incredible having the longest running pet podcast. Cause like you said, podcasts have been around for a while, but a lot of us didn't even know the terminology.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, we put together for our members, like the top 30 podcasts, in a document. You're in there. And then I think 2 years later is like 60 something. And now it's like, there's like hundreds of people that are doing it. So what else would be your advice for somebody new going into podcasting, especially for the pet industry?
Yeah, I think you have to have good equipment and it doesn't need to be expensive, but a good microphone is very good. I'm laughing because I'm not doing this right here with you, but this is Mama, baby. And so this is a microphone. You got to make sure for radio, it's like 2 inches from your mouth to have that nice clarity. Have a good Wi-Fi. as far as the content, be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try to be someone you're not. I am a goofball. I do tell bad jokes, but I also keep focused on what the mission is of that podcast episode, and think for the benefit of the folks with ears, your listeners. So this is not an ego trip. This is a show where you're trying to showcase somebody or give your listeners some good information to take home. So I would say limit your brag.
I love that. And I love be yourself. That is such good advice because I feel like, as you're learning to get your own voice and all that, you tend to start maybe emulating somebody else because you're
don't do
nervous
that.
to be yourself. I agree. I love, love, love that.
I mean, look behind me. Casey's being himself, licking his butthole. Thanks, Case. Love you, man.
Oh, cats will be cats, right? I'm waiting for him to crawl across the front of you.
He's pretty cool. And
man.
I love the cats and dogs, but seriously, I love being a guest on other people's shows, and anything I can do to help them, I do try, because people need to hear good information in a way that it sticks.
Yeah.
So the other tip I would give is, if you had like a guest that had had 17 tips for how to have your dog travel on a vacation, you're not going to get all 17 in. So give them a few of them, tease them, and then encourage the listeners to go to that expert's website or Instagram or TikTok or whatever to get more. So always do a good thing by promoting your guest social media.
I love that. I love that. And it's not that hard to do, right? As an interviewer. No. Yeah. So let me ask you this. You are, with showing us your books and all the things that you do, you are a dog behaviorist, correct?
Well, consultant, because I don't have the PhD. Pretty happy dog, but yeah. And yes.
And then we can call you a cat expert as well, right?
And I'm a fear-free pet certified speaker.
Yes. So what came first, cats or dogs?
See, that's a tough one, because growing up in a backyard lake in Crown Point, Indiana, we had Peppy, Crackers, and Corky, 2 dogs and a cat. And I did not think anything of it. I had my cat swim with the dogs to our raft, put the cat on the raft while we did our cannonballs, and then put the kitty Corky in the water, and with his tail as a rudder, we all swam back to shore. I don't know. People ask me, I love cats. I love dogs. I actually like people, and that's kind of wild. Even though my past, I was an investigative reporter and I covered serial killers and other things. I think they both make me a better human.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I love that your cat was like a dog.
Yeah, don't tell Corky. And that's what I do with Casey, because Casey rides in a stroller. He talks when I ask him a question in class. He's never met a stranger or a strange place. And I just forget. I just say, don't say anything. He might be a DOG in a cat clothing.
Right. I love that. I had a cat that was similar to that too. She would ring the doorbell, walk me to the bus stop when I was
But could she make you a kitty cocktail? Come on.
Nope. Too funny. So, where we lost? We lost Arden. Oh no, hopefully she comes back in. Oh no, we're having so much fun. Maybe we could get her back in. I just had a couple of more questions for Arden, but if she doesn't, there she is. Hold on.
I did not catch anything.
That's okay. Listen, I am very quick to cover. You're back. That's all that matters. I was like, oh no, we lost her. Okay. So, not many people are cat experts and dog experts all at the same time, like you. I have a question for you for the pet parents out there. What advice would you give to somebody that is a dog household and they're thinking about bringing a cat home?
Well, it depends on the dog and the dog's experience with cats. Sometimes it's good to have a kitten come in because they don't have a fear factor that is smelled by a dog. But I would definitely take the time beforehand to take your beautiful dog and hang out with somebody that has a cat like Casey.
Yeah.
And to be able to have a controlled environment and see, and always, always, always have grade A level treats, but give it to the cat first and then the dog. No, seriously, because the dog's all about rank. Cat doesn't care what they already know they own the house. But the dog will see that the cat is getting the treat first. Oh, they might be a captain. I'm only a lieutenant. Ooh. Okay. So there's a lot of little things you do, and even letting them kind of smell each other through a screen door or a gate, and always have them maybe at mealtime kind of nearby but safe, so that the cat gets the bowl, then the gate, and then the dog. We've introduced a lot of cats and dogs in my life, and I got married about 5 years ago. We have the furry Brady Bunch, and we got everyone to like each other. That's awesome. But it is your energy. Wait, is going to make the prey drive in a dog accelerate. Yeah. And cats are both prey and predator, and they're like, I am a hunter and I'm being hunted. Bye. Yeah. So, and stress takes a nasty, nasty blow to the gut for any dog or cat, making them have, here, I can say that, vomiting, diarrhea, runny stools. Yay. These are signs that things are not happy and harmonious.
Thank you for that, because I think it's so important for pet parents to understand that, you can have a harmonious house. Like, you have 2 cats and 2 dogs in your house, and I've heard that from pet parents. 3 cats? 3 cats.
Yeah, we have a senior, Mikey. He licks everybody's head at night.
Oh, he's like he's a mama cat. That's really cute. But I think it's important, because I see a lot of times when people say, like right now it's kitten season, right? There's kittens everywhere for adoption, and older cats as well. And I see pet parents saying like, oh, we can't adopt a cat because we have a dog. And I'm like, that's not true. When I was younger, we had a cat and a dog. Like, they got along great. So
it wasn't about, it's
we didn't
how
even
we
have the
present it.
tools. Yeah, we didn't have the tools, right? So
there's some really good friendships, bonds between dogs and cats. And my cat Casey is very bonded to my dog Kona, and they teach together and all that. But you'll see him in the kitchen, nobody's around, and Casey will do an under chin on Kona, and Kona will lick Casey on the head, or their tails will touch, which is another sign of affection. And I don't say anything. I don't make a big deal of it, because it's a private moment between them, and it's reinforcing their connection.
Yeah. I love that. That you just observe it and love that that's happening. Very cool. All right.
And they behave better in hotels when we travel than I do. So,
because you're too busy making those mixed cocktails.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just have a few more questions for you. So what has been your favorite thing about working in the pet industry so far?
Getting to work with incredible dogs and cats, and getting to learn something new every day. I feel blessed to be in a career, not a job, that allows me to grow, take risks, learn from my mistakes. But it's the fur factor. I mean, I got to tell you, they have helped my level of stress. They make me laugh. I so much appreciate that I get to hang out with 2, 3, and 4-leggers.
That's awesome. I love it. So, what would you tell somebody that's thinking about coming into the pet industry? Any advice for a new pet professional? Somebody thinking about?
Make sure that you have plenty of these. And choose your outfits wisely, depending on the color of the coat. I just say, go with your heart. If you really dig animals, step up your game and learn about what motivates a dog or a cat. How do they think? What are some things that they need, and health advances? And I think you can be a pet's best friend when you know how to recognize uh-ohs at early stages.
Yeah, great. So let me ask you this. What is the best piece of advice that anybody has given you?
It was my old crusty editor from the Fort Lauderdale Sun Sentinel. And he said, Arden! He barked like that. And I was in my 20s. And he actually had a cigar in the newsroom and a bottle of whiskey in his drawer. I am old.
Come on.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm like, I looked 12 when I was in my mid-20s. And he said, Arden, whatever you do, If your mother tells you she loves you, check it out. And you think about that.
Yeah.
We are so quick sometimes to take something as fact because the news swirls so quickly and you have to know where the sources are. Years ago, there was a big to-do about a study with cats and cat dust. And I plunged in a little deeper and I found out that it was a study involving 6 cats in one house owned by a guy who's trying to create a new cat litter. But the headline news was, oh my gosh, this is the next thing since sliced bread. But people didn't get into it. Years at working at Rodale Press, which is prevention in men's health, taught me how to read a scientific study and the methodology and the white papers and things like that. So sometimes, choose who your sources are and choose them wisely, not out of convenience, but out of expertise.
I love that. And in this fast-paced world of people seeing a headline, people don't click on it, read what it is, and do a little research. They just assume everything that they see is factual. And then sometimes if they do a little research, they're like, hey, wait a minute, it's 6 cats in a house with one guy, So I love that because I think that's such a great piece of advice that he gave you. And I think it's so important.
Well, there's a lady quickly, the best expert I could find on the controversy are avocados toxic to dogs. I kept getting back and forth from veterinarians. I went to Justine Lee, the veterinarian. She's incredible. She is the only veterinarian in the country that is board certified in critical care and ER medicine, check, and toxicology, check.
Wow.
So she's going to be on my Jeopardy trivia team. But the point is, she cleared the air because I went to God. I went to the number one expert, and she's trying to explain this to her peers, her colleagues. It is not toxic.
Right.
It can cause digestive upset, but it's the slimy pit that sticks against the throat. So that can cause airway blockage. So in our classes, we actually show people how to pop the suction on a tennis ball or an avocado pit. And I am so glad I was able to get the best answer from the best, Dr. Justine Lee.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw that controversy too. I think I still see it every once in a while pop up.
So I'm going to do my part to help her get her message across. And I validate it by saying attribute. All you podcasters, if you don't know something, it's okay. We're human.
Yes.
But if you got a good gem, credit where it came from.
Yes, 100,000%. I love that. And it just shows your authenticity, I believe, as much as
she was going to say awesomeness, everybody, but she went with authenticity.
No, I meant authenticity. No, seriously, it's awesome. But no, I just think that because as you're interviewing somebody, as you're doing research, if you're a writer, if you're a blogger, all those things, right? All the things that you're talking about. You and I have similar backgrounds. I worked in television, I did PR. So finding the right source, the correct information, all of that is really important. And then crediting where credit is due.
Yes.
All right. So what is your daily non-negotiable habit that keeps you grounded?
I would say, with exception, because sometimes the weather's nasty here in Dallas, I try to take Kona and Emma for a little walk, even if it's just a half-hour walk a day. Yep. And at night, I try to do some. We have 2 cat trees put together in our living room, so we'll never win an award for design. But I try to do something playing with my cats as a nightcap. And so I wake up with good endorphins because of Kona and Emma, and I go to bed with good endorphins because of my tabby trio.
I love that. I do that as well. Walk the dog. It's so good. That's awesome.
And change different routes, go different places. They don't want to smell the same old. Yep.
Just like we get bored, they get bored, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So is there anything else that you want to add that I didn't ask you about?
You asked a lot of good questions. I'm happy to be part of APP. I wanted to tell you that. And I think what you're doing is stellar, getting us all together. And I think I'm a big fan of collaboration and not competition.
Yes.
And there's a lot of other folks that teach pet first aid, other people that write pet books, other people that have podcasts. Embrace that and just stay in your lane. And it's, I'm a 20-year overnight sensation. So, you never know when it'll happen.
Yeah, you have done some amazing things. You're doing some amazing things. Thank you for those kind words. I agree with you on the collaboration. It's all better to work together to build up our community, right? So that's something that I'm very passionate about, as I think you know.
Yes, and we appreciate that. I mean, one time I was feeling some people feeling a little jealous of my pet first aid, and a good person gave me great advice and said, address the elephant in the room
Yeah.
and give them peanuts. And I said, what do you mean? Just acknowledge that they're also in the field. Don't
Yeah.
say you like them or love them. Just say, hey, we both share the same passion, don't we, to
Yeah.
save lives. And after that, we became friends.
Exactly, exactly. I love that. Thank you for saying that. It's so true. That's part of the reason I started my organization. Like, let's work together, guys. Like, it's
Don't
like,
be catty, meow, or doggy,
right.
woof.
No, it's so silly. Well, like I said, it's an amazing industry. I am so happy that to have you on today, Art, and it's been a lot of fun as always talking to you. Will
Thank you,
you be
Nancy.
at any industry events coming up?
Um, I'm hoping later in the fall. I had some things that we were planning for next month, but definitely I'm hoping to get back to global
Next year,
next
yeah.
February. I guess it's February. I definitely want to get back with that. My business manager's aligning a bunch of stuff up so we
Okay.
can maybe do some appearances and things like that. So I hope to be
Cool.
there.
All right, cool. Well, just tell me offline when you're going to be at stuff so I know. So if I'm
Okay,
going to
we'll
be
say
there, I'll
hi.
make sure I'll see you. All
Okay.
right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Arden. Everybody, our next show is next week, Tuesday, June 28th, right here at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to put Arden's information in the comments. But where can people find you the most, Arden?
That's easy. My name, ardenmoore.com. That'll take you to all the social media, to LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and my Pet First Aid for You site, and the radio show and the podcast. So keep it simple.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So make sure you guys check out ardenmoore.com, and that's two O's in there. All right,
Thanks,
Arden.
Nancy.
Have a great rest of the day. Take care,
All right.
everybody.
Take
Bye.
care.